We have Tyler Hoechlin and Mehcad Brooks, who play characters on the show, and let's welcome them on the stage.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
I feel like I should Purell this microphone.
There we go. And look at that. We would have been crowded with three on that couch.
That's right. Would not,
just
would
would
have worked out.
Yeah,
It's
been
meant to
cheek
be.
right here and cheek right here. It's fine. We're all family.
So anyway, thanks for coming, and thanks for coming to the home of Superman.
Right.
Where Superman was created.
I just found that out today.
That's right.
I just discovered that today.
Yeah. And we have these, courtesy of a local comic shop called Carol and John's. They put together this really nice map of Superman sites in Cleveland, including the home of Jerry Siegel, where Superman was created. So those are there. Those are there at the end. Feel free to pick one up. Or
So is Jerry Siegel's house? Does somebody live there?
yes,
So you can't just show up.
You probably could.
I don't know, bro.
But they're very nice people, and they accommodate.
Oh my God!
It's amazing. Tour buses will pull up and just run out and take pictures at the house.
Oh, I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm with the Siegel and Schuster Society,
Mom,
and we
Dad,
put up
why do we live here?
really nice.
7 a.m. It's happening.
We put up a really nice plaque outside the house,
awesome.
so great place to take pictures.
How far is that?
It's only about maybe 3-4 miles from here.
Okay.
Guys, let's take a walk all together.
There we go.
Let's go, man.
It's not that cold out, right? It's cold.
We can do this.
So anyway, glad you guys are here today. And if anyone's going to have questions, we have microphones at either end. Oh, there's one, and there's the other. So feel free to line up, and when we get some time at the end, you could ask your questions.
About to lean back. Precarious.
Yeah, watch that.
I feel like someone did that on purpose. Like that.
Jesse would have leaned back. You want this one?
No, you're good.
Okay. So wanted to, I guess, first talk a little bit about the Supergirl show, which I think is one of the better DC shows on TV. It's more serious.
Thank you. Yeah. We think so too.
Yeah, they do a nice job.
No, I'm kidding.
I guess we ought to talk to you first. So I was interested in the casting because when they were looking for a young, white, freckle-faced, red-haired, short guy to play Jimmy Olsen, how did you even answer that? I mean, how did that come about?
Well, I jokingly, I want to say I walked in and I beat up all the short, white, red-headed guys, but that would probably come off as inappropriate. They weren't looking for that. They actually were just, they opened up the character to all demographics. And I think that's a really beautiful sign of our times. It's like, Jimmy Olsen was made, he was conceived over 75 years ago when people had a very monochromatic existence back then. Like you didn't run into other types of people, really.
True.
And we're just sort of correcting the inequities of the past. And so like if Jimmy Olsen was created in 1990, he might look like me.
Yeah.
If Superman was created in 2014, it might be an Asian guy.
Yep. Well, there is an Asian Superman, actually. So.
Yeah, he's from Krypton. He doesn't have to look like Mitt Romney's son,
Right.
What's up, Tag? You good?
Dad's been busy lately.
You're doing really the character. I mean, we call him James. I don't think anyone's called him Jimmy in the show. And,
a couple times.
Did they?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
But I like
his sister calls him Jimmy.
Does she? That makes sense. Sister would. But I like the way you sort of gracefully exited. I'm looking forward to a follow-up on that. Is there any plans to do the story about Jimmy Olsen as a publisher of a small-town newspaper, which is the last time we saw you?
That could be an awesome show.
I'd love to see that.
That'd be a cool show. I'd love to see it too. We have not discussed that. I left on really good terms with everybody, and it was such an incredible experience. And I think things had just run its course, and I had to leave to do a movie called Mortal Kombat. So, yeah, you guys check. It's going to be. So we shot that over 4 months in Australia between August and early January, and it's It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be like Star Wars kind of meets the old Tim Burton Batmans. You guys are going to love it. It's really dark and really, really bloody. So,
A Disney movie, right?
yeah. Well, they got the Avengers. They got their blue skies things, and we have the head crushing things.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Good. So, Tyler, you came on board as the new Superman. How many have seen the new Superman? And you did a great job. I mean, you just slid right in there like you always belonged. It was wonderful. And now we understand that there's going to be a new show.
There is.
Are they calling it Superman and Lois? So that
Superman and Lois is the title that I am aware of as well. So I think for now we'll go with that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to hear everything about it.
Yeah. I can't tell you anything. There you go.
I'll tell you.
Superman and Lois.
You could tell us.
I read the pilot.
There we go.
I'll tell you exactly what happens. Scene 1.
I can't wait for this.
Is it set? It's set in modern time, obviously, and
Sure.
in the Supergirl universe and all
Sure.
that. Okay, cool. We could say that.
Sure.
So we don't have to.
1776.
Yeah, we don't have to start with a baby. And
We
a
haven't
rocket.
started shooting yet. I'm not trying to get fired today.
There we go. Okay.
I got plans.
Do they indicate when it's going to be hitting the screens? When are we going to see it?
I know that we're supposed to start shooting in July, which I imagine means fall show. So I think October would be a safe guess, but do not quote me on that.
I
don't
hear
hear
you.
anything on Twitter that I said it's in October. It's my guess.
Well, we're looking forward to it. That should be really great. So, what could you tell us about the Supergirl show that we don't already know? What goes on behind the scenes?
Mayhem.
Man, huh? Mayhem. Okay.
No, I mean, like in the most positive way. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's. It's a family. It's like it's a true family, and he can attest to that. When he came up, it was just like there was open arms everywhere.
Excellent.
We all love being together. Like we sing and dance and make jokes all day.
I was going to say a lot of singing,
a lot
and
of
dancing.
singing,
Really?
a lot of
A lot of
dancing.
singing and dancing.
A lot of
yeah.
joking. So it's a really fun environment.
All right.
Yeah, really
but do you guys
supportive
all
environment.
put Luther aside and say, "You go away. You go wait in the corner. We're not going to allow."
Luther jumps in. Luther jumps in every once in a while.
There we go.
That would be bullying. We don't do that.
We don't want to do that. Excellent. So the one thing I noticed that strikes me as any Supergirl or Superman project is this. It's like, hey, who is that guy? And where's Superman? That type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And which is always kind of funny, especially in Supergirl when she was in with Cat Grant as both characters, as Kara and a Supergirl, within 2 minutes, and Cat is like, oh, I'm a newspaper reporter, but I don't notice that you're the same person without glasses.
Callista used to bring that up a lot.
Did she?
Yeah, she's like, why am I this?
Stupid.
She goes, why am I the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but I'm also an idiot? Like, I don't know glasses. I can't tell the difference.
Can't tell the difference?
And so, like, eventually the show was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And plus, she has that little scar right here. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, right above the eye. Yeah. And it's like, well, Supergirl has that little scar, and you have that little scar. Hey, we might be onto something. It was cool at the end.
That was the thing, like 80 something years ago. If somebody had glasses, like I don't even recognize you.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was a thing. Yeah. Put on glasses, and all of a sudden you have a different identity.
Your whole body changes.
Oh, simpler times.
It's great.
Yeah. I say no social media, right? So you don't see people as often.
Yeah.
It's like you're seeing someone's post every 2 days, or in my case 3 months, whatever. But like, you're not seeing their face. You're not seeing their face all the time. Like,
That's
you
true.
go away, you see them 3 months later, they have glasses on. You're like,
is that Tyler?
you look familiar,
Might
but
be
I'm
that
not sure.
guy.
Yeah.
It looks familiar. Yeah. Excellent. The other thing that strikes me is I imagine there's a lot of this. I mean, you guys are fighting things, but it's all green screen and we can't see it. So I guess you spend a lot of time just standing there punching it to midair.
Depends. Sometimes
and
it's green screen, sometimes it's practical, which is always nice. I think the things I've always found really funny is like when Melissa and I have to do like the heat vision at each other.
Right.
Because then it's just a staring contest. It feels really weird. It's
really fun to watch.
Because you have to like amp up for it. It's like you take like a breath in just to stare at someone. It's
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. Yeah.
And then you have to stare really hard too. Like
Really hard. Oh no, they'll say it. They're like, they're harder. You're like,
harder.
I squint more? I don't know. So it's that's always fun.
I'm trying to remember. I don't think that I'm an old.
And the freezer bro.
See, we had,
Right.
yeah, they're just like, they're like, no, like really get into it. Like,
I'm gonna pass out.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You get lightheaded.
Now, I'm an old-time comic collector. I mean, I've been collecting for far too many years. And my favorite character of all time, besides I like Superman and all, but Crypto, the Superdog. I love Crypto. Are there any plans to bring Crypto into...
Crypto's getting his own show.
He is good. All right, I'd like that.
It's on that Geo.
Yes, yes. Live action.
Yeah.
Yeah, he trips on the cape a lot. It's weird. Yeah.
They're actually using a very perfect Crypto in the Titans show on DC Access.
Oh, nice. Very
Perfect.
cool.
He's a dog, but he's got superpowers.
There it is.
Very cool. So, speaking of comic books, are you guys readers?
I grew up collecting.
Did you?
And I still have a slight collection, but I've moved so many times as an adult. Don't know where half the stuff is. But yeah, I did grow up collecting.
You look like a Marvel guy. Am I right?
You know, I was okay. DC's no longer paying me.
That's okay.
I honestly, when I was growing up, it was Archie's.
Archie's. Okay.
A little bit of X-Men.
All right.
And I was a huge Batman fan.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Who said yas? Yas, Batman, yas. Sorry, I love saying that. It's great.
You're lucky you missed the Batmans of the early '60s because they were.
No, I watched those too.
You got them?
The Bang Boom
Okay.
Pow, Automatopoeia.
Bam Boom Pow,
Yeah,
right.
like I used to watch those too with my parents. Like,
I used to read them as a young kid and
Love
go,
them.
"This is childish."
well,
I caught my first episode the other day. I was like, this is fantastic. This is great.
Well, Tyler, what about you? What kind of comics did you read if you read at all?
I started acting when I was 8. I played baseball really competitively. So from like a young age, I was on set, on the field, in my public school and in my independent studies.
Jock alert.
So that was something I didn't have that was all my extracurriculars. So
Right.
I was running around quite a bit, but yeah. So it's still like it's a newer world for me.
Interesting.
so what he's saying is, if you guys are fans, send him Superman comics.
Send me anything.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
I might have a hookup.
You need
with
to
DC
start a
now.
collection. You need to start a collection.
That's right.
I do. I got my friends at DC are set me up with that stuff. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
nice.
But if you got something, I'll take
And
it.
at age 8, I think it was, was that when you were in Road to Perdition?
I was 13 when I did
13,
that. Yeah.
Road to Perdition.
Damn, he's
Which is
like,
also a comic
8?
book, by the way.
I was like, yeah, dude, I came out just ready to go.
He's like, so you were a small 13.
It took me a few years. Yeah.
You were great in that.
Thanks, man.
I've already told you that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes,
Wasn't he great in that? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have some time. Let's have some, I can't see from up here, but any questions? I can't see if there's anybody lined up or not. But please come join us.
Yeah.
Not up here, but from down there. Small stage.
I mean, it's kind of a high
Yeah, we got a
jump.
little ball right here.
Yeah. I was actually at a C2E2 in Chicago, and I was going up against Mark Wade in a Silver Age trivia contest, which is totally ridiculous because the guy's a freak. And he, of course, beat the shit out of me. And the stage was like this, and he went, yay! And he fell backward. No. And it landed right on his head, and it's like, oh my God, I killed Mark Wade.
Oh my God.
But he was okay. But
Price of victory.
okay, first question. on-
CTE. Nice picture. What?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name's Amelia. But
Hi, Amelia.
Obviously, I'm actually Alex today.
Yeah, you look great.
So, as you can probably guess, Alex's character and her storyline has meant a lot to me and validating my experience in the LGBT community. And this show has done a really great job of handling really difficult issues. It's one of the things I preach about this show to other people. I'm like, if you want to see a show that will handle every single issue this world has right now in a fantastic but delicate way, you should watch Supergirl. So, Mehcad, I was wondering, how much input did you have in your character storyline as a black character, as a superhero?
That's a great question. All of it. We have, so Robert and Jessica, who are our showrunners, and Greg Berlanti, who's in charge, they have collectively one of the smallest egos I've ever experienced in Hollywood. And when something would happen on the page, or And I would say, like, this makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, or I think that this could be a little problematic, or it could be seen as problematic, or this is an old trope that I don't think that we're thinking about, and maybe we should try it this way. So for instance, I'll give you a specific example. Actually, two. There's a scene where James talks about his first interaction with the ideology of racism, right? And I say the ideology because it's in our heads, it's not real. We have to participate in it to make it real. And it literally was my real story that happened to me as a kid. And I got to say that, and then so we talked about it, and they wanted to put it into the script, and there was a lot of care and compassion that went into some people who don't have that experience, listening to somebody with that experience saying, this is how it felt, this is what it is. And then second, I pointed out to them that, like, yes, it's great that I'm a superhero, but every single black superhero has a mask or a helmet on. Think about it. Uh-oh. Every single one, except for Luke Cage, and he's in the hood.
John Stewart, Green Lantern, doesn't wear one either.
He wears the mask.
He does?
Yeah.
John Stewart mask? I don't think so.
Yep.
Originally he did. Little mask.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Did the research. Because I thought it was an issue. I thought it was a problem. Even Black Panther, like, whatever the case is, whenever a black man was being heroic, we had to cover his face. And so because of that, we had to talk, and then they unmasked the Guardian in the show. And like, so yeah, I think it's, we're moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Let's take one on this side. I think there's somebody there. Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Mine seems really dorky after the seriousness of that. This is for Tyler. Obviously, Superman, one of the most iconic roles in anything, TV, movies, comics, whatever. Sure. And also, because of that, one of the most probably scrutinized role when someone is cast as a new Superman and being compared to Christopher Reeve, all the way up to, you know, Brandon and Henry and all that. Yeah. And I was just curious with you, when you got cast, how much do you pull, say, from looking at old Christopher Reeve to putting your own spin to, are they telling you kind of how to portray the character? How do you go about playing your version of Superman?
Yeah, so I've gotten more, when I first got this question, I was like, oh, how do I answer this? How do I answer this? And then I was just like, I'm just gonna be honest because it's easier. So I've never seen any of the old Superman stuff. And once I knew I was doing this, I kind of made an intentional choice not to do that. Specifically for that fact. I didn't want to see something that I liked and then be tempted to copy it. I also didn't want to see something that I maybe didn't like and then have the feeling of needing to stay away from that. So I think, you know, I had a great meeting with Greg Berlanti about this in the first place when we first sat down, and I think we all very much agreed on what we loved about the character and what we thought was important for him, especially with the version of him that we were doing in Supergirl. And for me, that was enough. And I was also at a place where creatively I was coming to the realization more and more of if you have something that is genuine and honest in your portrayal of something or your take on something, it's always better to commit to that and just live with that, as opposed to trying to be a version that you think other people want. Because then if people don't like it, well, then you didn't even really take your shot at it anyway. It wasn't yours to begin with. So I think just having an idea of what the character, who the character was, what we wanted him to represent, it was much easier to come into it fully committed to that and staying away from any outside influence. So that's kind of what we kind of continue to try to do, and that's what I'll do moving forward with this as well. There's some things, you know, if there's something that's, it's an homage to, you know, something, a callback from something that was in a past thing, you know, always ask the producers or the writer, whoever it might be on set, like, hey, what do I need to know to accomplish what you guys are going for here? But as far as the character stuff, you know, I've been doing my own research with it and just kind of living with my interpretation of it, and until they say, hey, that sucks, don't do that anymore, I'll just keep doing that. So
it's been great.
That's my approach at the moment.
Going to be great to see Superman back on the small screen.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
Fun.
And that's why Tyler's going to be the best Superman ever, guys.
Yeah, there we go.
Because he's going to make it his own, and you guys are going to love it.
Let's take one from this side. Guy in the army hat.
Yeah, hi, my name is Alan. Mehcad, first, I loved you as Eggs on True Blood.
Thank you.
I was not happy when they killed you off so early in that show.
That makes one of us.
Right. My question is a technical question. Like when the Guardian would do the shield, when his shield would form, at what point from the CG of the shield kind of forming on your arm did they switch to a practical shield? Like what was the mechanics of?
So the practical shield was always there.
Right.
And then so what we do is so if I'm holding the shield, there's a handle and there's these two straps. And so let's say I need to have the shield pop out.
Right.
So it's not there right now. And so I go, right? Hopefully better than that. And then they put the shield in, and then I do it again, and then in between those takes, they cut it together.
Oh, sweet.
So it's on and it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on and it's off. So then finally, as I got more accustomed to it, I was like, can we just shoot everything with the shield on, please? And then everything with the shield off. I'm getting tired, just y'all can put it together, right? They're like, yeah. So cool. Saved everybody some time.
There we go. That's easier.
And super quick for Tyler.
Yeah.
Were you mad that it was Tom Welling's version of Clark that got to punch out John Cryer instead of you during the Crisis crossover?
I think any Superman is always I don't know if he's excited. He's probably disappointed. He's like, I got to hit him again. But yeah, no, I think that was a cool moment for Tom. I was glad he got to come back and do that. I thought that was a really cool little meetup for the fans.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How many like Cryer's version of Luthor versus the previous? Isn't that nice? I thought he's the best one since Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, he's
great.
John's awesome.
Rosenbaum was the greatest. He was perfect. Wow, what a guy. Okay, someone over there? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name's Richie.
Hey, Richie.
And I just have a question for Tyler. I was just wondering what you think a kind of team up between your version of Superman and Derek Hale, how do you think that would go?
You saw Teen Wolf?
Yeah, big fan.
Did Derek win many fights?
Not that I can recall.
No, I don't see this one going much better for him. I think I think Superman might take pity on him a little bit. He's it would have been an interesting. He's like, why are you so angry? Why are you so angry? But yeah, it's definitely it's been fun. It's been fun to do two shows like this, and obviously two extremely polar opposite kind of characters, which I think is always something at the core of them though is very much the same. But they just, obviously have had different life experiences and it's led them down different paths and things like that. But it's been a lot of fun to kind of play both ends of the spectrum on that.
Thank you.
I love that question. The question was, do you think you can kick your own ass? It's kind of a cool question. Awesome.
Gentleman in a Superman shirt.
Hi, my name is Jay. Big fan of Superman, as you can tell. As
Right on,
Superboy.
Yeah.
So this is a question. I just finished watching Smallville, and in the last season of that, Clark in several episodes has a big turnaround with having to, Superman is who he really is, whereas Clark is kind of acting. So that was a big plot point. So my question was, how do you kind of approach acting versus acting as a character who is acting? How do you diverge Clark versus Superman in your acting style?
I just had an aneurysm. What just happened?
Yeah, it is. You do have to separate it. I kind of had talked to, I think when I first did the show, I forget who I was having the conversation with, but it was really kind of dividing the character up into not just two, but actually many different versions. You can kind of, I imagine you can probably identify with this in the sense of when you're with different groups of friends or different people, you feel like different aspects of yourself kind of naturally come out around that group. It's kind of that, but obviously we just have to construct those. So for me, with the characters, always the different levels of comfort he has being his genuine self with different people. And so sometimes it's kind of in the middle of one and the other. Sometimes it's actually just genuinely him. And sometimes it's an extreme example of who this either idea that people have of him is, or this idea he needs people to have of him. So it's just kind of going back and forth between all those different places. But I think you can probably, relate to that when you think about being with different people and, they bring out different sides of you. So just kind of tapping into those different sides.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. And make sure you push for a dog for Superman because everybody needs a dog. Okay, someone over here. Yes.
Hi, this is for Tyler. The last Crisis crossover, we had multiple Superman and Supergirl. So, like, what was it like having all the supers together? Like, are you complaining about the super suits? Do you and Brandon share Superman tips?
Actually, it was nice having Brandon there so that we could fight each other. So I didn't have to like do the one suit and then same like he said, like doing like the shield on, shield off thing. It was like blue suit, black suit, blue suit, black suit, and just back and forth and fighting myself the whole time. So it was nice for him to ease that burden a little bit. But yeah, it was fun. It was really cool to see Brandon, back in it and kind of seeing him go through that whole thing again. That was really cool. Yeah, we had a great time. Those sets, Mehcad can attest to this. Those sets are even when they're madness and they're crazy, it's good people there, and so it makes those things, even when it's long hours and crazy days, it still makes it enjoyable and it's good company. So we have a good time.
Brandon seems like the nicest guy in the world.
He is.
Is he really? He
is.
looks like just a nice guy.
Yeah,
He's a
very,
sweet-
very
he's a
nice
sweetheart.
guy. He is.
That's pretty amazing. Yes.
Hello. So
Hello.
this is for Mehcad, since you mentioned being a big Batman fan. So very
Yes.
important question. Who is your favorite movie Batman?
My favorite movie, Batman. Man, that's a good question. I think I got to go with Michael Keaton. Yeah. I mean, Michael Keaton and Christian Bale to me are like tied.
Agreed.
I mean, they're very different. I think Keaton brought like this charm and humor to it and levity to a guy who's obviously going through some emotional issues. I mean, really, come on. Who dresses in a bat suit and punches criminals at midnight? I mean, you got some problems, bro. And I think Christian Bale flipped that and made it very grounded and dark and serious, and I thought that was really dope. So I like both of those together.
Thank you.
There we go. And on the right here.
Hello, I'm Maggie.
Hi,
This
Maggie.
question is for Tyler. What crossover event do you like more, Crisis or Crisis on Earth? What was it? Elseworld. Thank you.
Elseworld. I had performance-wise, I had more fun. I had more fun acting in Elseworlds just because I got to play both roles. So that was a lot of fun. It was like you're wearing the same suit, different color, different appearance, but I mean, you're still like embodying the same thing, but obviously playing them in such different ways. For some reason, playing the bad guy is always really fun. I don't know why. The villain's always fun. The villain's always fun because there's just less rules. Like there's no like, especially with Superman. I mean, he stands for something. He symbolizes something, things like so strongly that you have a box that you have to play within. So the challenge becomes finding that small box and finding a way to make it interesting. Whereas the other one is like, you can be over here, you can be over here, you can be over here, and you can do it all at the same time, and no one asks any questions. So that's really fun. They're just really fun. But I would say, shoot-wise, I think we had so many people there for Crisis, people coming in and out, and I didn't have to work as hard because I didn't have as many lines, so it was kind of like, all right, cool, I know my 3 words today, so I just get to hang out with everybody. So 2 completely different experiences, and I would say both equally enjoyable, just in completely different ways.
Excellent. Sir?
Hi there, my name's Chuck.
What's up, man?
One of the things I love about Supergirl and like the whole Arrowverse in general, but you guys do it more, is how you paid homage to previous actors and actresses that were in other DC movies, TV shows, and whatnot. Like in season 1, there were 3 women who played Supergirl all in that same season, which was amazing.
Right.
Is there anyone from previous DC movies or TVs that you would love to see or work with on the show as different characters?
Christian Bale. I don't know how I don't bring that one up.
I mean, Christian Bale or Michael Keaton or Chris Nolan come in and direct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being too dark, but. And then he'd play with the space-time continuum a little too much.
I feel like that's a good fit, though.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wait,
like
did we just come up with a good idea? Somebody call the president of Hollywood.
Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd love to. I mean, there's been so many great. I mean, there's been incredibly talented actors and actresses to play in this world for a really long time, and whether or not their versions of the film or the show or the characters were received well, you just have such a ridiculous amount of talented, gifted people who have done this for a long time. So I think that list is very, very long.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
Harley Quinn too. Yeah,
Harley
awesome.
Quinn. I mean, Margot's great in that.
I love how the villains are becoming heroes. Isn't that fun to watch? Yeah, not in real life,
cool.
but like. Yeah.
No, yeah.
All right, running down the end here.
Hi guys.
How about you?
It's all perspective.
This is kind of a comment in the form of a question. One of the great things
That's not allowed.
One of the things I love most about Supergirl, the show, is that, especially with you two, like with James, the first season, he'd come from Metropolis, he wanted to start a new life, but he also sort of mentored Kara along as she's learning how to be a superhero. Same thing with your Superman when he showed up. He was so established and chill about, hey, this is your town, your life. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to support Melissa's character and not have to mansplain superhero?
That was awesome. Everybody needs support, but I think I can speak for both of us when I say that the person who needs the least amount of support in this universe is Melissa Benoist. She's incredible. She's amazing. She could carry the weight all of herself. And it's just an honor to work with somebody who works that hard, who's that good, who's that kind and generous in spirit. And it was kind of like, as the characters' relationships grew to be different, so did our personal relationships. So I was kind of happy to be out of the mentor position as a character because like it brought us closer as people, right? And so like, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but she supported me more than I supported her, basically. Like, you know how like you get a dog and goes, the dog saved my life, right? Like Melissa was like. She still is such a positive influence in my life, and I love her. It's amazing.
There we go. Quick question about Supergirl. I noticed that like the first season, or perhaps first two seasons, there was a general lightness of the show, and then it started to get better, I think, or more serious, which I really enjoyed. Was there a discussion about that?
So you said it sucked at first. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. Half the stuff I say is jokes. All right, so that was serious. Was there a discussion
about that change, or was it just organic?
Well, I think we were still finding our footing. You know, like a lot of shows in the first season. I don't think Tyler's gonna have this problem because he's coming into a machine of how to do this, and I think that he's such a great leader. I don't think that that they'll have some of the same issues. But we were on CBS, and so CBS has a different brand than CW. And so DC and CBS hadn't done that before. So I think they were still trying to find this happy marriage. And I think, we did have, this is not me saying this. This is, I'm actually probably misquoting, but I'm paraphrasing one of the showrunners. We had an identity crisis for the first year or two because we didn't really know how we fit into the schedule of CBS. And so like I think moving to CW sort of helped us find the grounding and the footing.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question. I can't. 5? Oh, we have time for.
Oh, we have time for 5 more questions. If you all make them 45 seconds each.
That's right. Yeah. Easy questions. Go ahead.
My name is Greg, and it's actually. Are you a member of the Siegel and Schuster Society?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I was just wondering, what's the status of the Superman statue, and also, would you be able to get any of them to come back for the unveiling?
I'm sure they'd all come back for us.
That would be great if
you guys are doing a Superman statue.
Yes. We've been trying to get a Superman statue together for about 5 million years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's come close 3 times. There's one time you guys don't even know about.
Wow.
And we're working on it, and it's looking very positive.
How tall is it?
It's going to be 15 feet tall. And the location, it's going to be solid steel. And I can't even show it to you, but we have a prototype. It's beautiful. We're close. We're actually closer than we've been in a long time. We almost had one, and it fell through, and I can't even talk about why it fell through. It wasn't our fault.
And who did you guys use as the model? For it?
It's classic Joe Shuster Superman. It's
a comic
old,
book model. Got it.
Kind of a combination of old and new, but it's gorgeous. And there is a Siegel and Schuster panel later on today that I hope you'll all come back to. There is a prototype of the original statue in the Cleveland Great Lake. No, what am I saying? In the Cleveland History Museum. Okay. And it was the one that was going to be put up, but that died. But the prototype is still there, and that's big. So, yep. Somebody over
actually,
here.
Can I make one comment on his last comment question? Yeah. Only because this is like a recent thing for me kind of as well. But I think, like you said, with our characters being so comfortable where they were and being more established than where they had been, and giving that advice to Kara, I think when you're younger, you feel this sense of urgency to have everything figured out. And I think as you get older, and this is also me admitting I don't know anything, this is like you get more comfortable with the fact that you don't really ever have it all figured out. You just have what you know at the moment, and you kind of go off of that. And so I think for our characters, at least for me, going into it and talking to her, I kind of had that approach of, it's almost a reassurance of like, look, you're doing fine. The important thing is to have, I think, the desire to want to grow, to want to be better, but removing that pressure of feeling like it has to be today, or like it has to be tomorrow that you have all the answers. Like it's never gonna happen. No one's ever gonna have all the answers. Everything's constantly changing. Our identities as individuals, as a culture, as society is constantly changing. So you're never gonna have it figured out, because by the time you do, everything's changed. So you kind of have to take away that pressure of, what exactly does it have to be? And I think approach it from more of a place of what is needed of me today that I can do, that I can offer. So I think for me, I enjoyed that relationship with her of kind of giving her that reassurance of like, hey, it's fine. You're doing everything you can. You're doing your best. That's all you can do. That's really all you can do. And if tomorrow you'll have a different approach, and it is what it is.
I guess we have time for one more question. Somebody over this side.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ella. As you can see, I am a massive Supergirl fan. Yeah. Thank you. For Mr. Brooks, since you were in the TV show, you took pictures, but you also took pictures in real life.
Do I take pictures in real life?
Yes.
Yes. I have an incredible Instagram account.
Okay.
Where these pictures are on display. Now, I picked up photography maybe in my like mid-20s, and I'm not that great. Like I'm not like don't come to me for pictures, but I have a pretty good eye for it. So
okay.
Yeah, and I think it's a superpower of its own. Like a really good photographer, that's a superpower.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Nobody's great at taking pictures anyway. Nobody's perfect at first.
No, absolutely not.
Do we have time?
I can attest to that.
Do we have time for one more question?
Do one more.
Moderator person? Sure. Go
Sure.
ahead. What the heck? We're not going anywhere.
Why not?
Okay, I'm Cheyenne.
Could you get closer to the microphone, please? We would love to hear your beautiful voice.
Okay, I'm Cheyenne. My comment is for Tyler. So earlier, you mentioned that Derek doesn't really win physical combat. Okay, well, I have a comment to say. I mean, like, he doesn't win physical, but I feel like he wins a lot of emotional battles with himself. I mean, he's helped me a lot through back, like, in season 3, normal, and even though he was going through it back then, too.
Yeah.
Which leads me into my next question for Teen Wolf fans as well as Derek fans. Do you think Derek Hill has finally found happiness with you-know-who, or do you think he never actually admitted that he has feelings for Styles?
Say the question part of it. Who? Derek?
Do you think Derek has finally found happiness with Styles and has actually told him that he had feelings for him?
So I'll answer the question fully honestly. That for us, that was never a character storyline. Like that was never a conversation or a dialogue that was going on. We had plenty of LGBTQ storylines going on in the show, and I think the show was always very incredibly supportive of that. I know we as a set. We as a culture there were very supportive of that, and that was very important to us. That storyline was a fandom thing that took on a life of its own, and so we were always very like supportive of it. We were like, great, do what you mean, take it and run with it. But for us playing the characters, we just have to know what the storyline is for us. And so I've always imagined that post the show, Derek found happiness with Brayden, hopefully. I always liked that storyline. I thought that was great. So I imagine them off into the sunset somewhere. But I agree with you with what you said about Derek. I think there's winning physical battles, and there's also something to be said about somebody who repeatedly gets beat down but doesn't allow it to take them out and always continues to rise to the occasion, even if that means failing again and then getting up again. So I always really loved that about the character as well. So.
Can I add a brief comment to the Brayden comment?
Sure.
I just find that really weird because didn't she kind of leave Derek to be like put in a murder situation and be put like, you know?
Did you see Derek's other relationships?
I mean,
it was the best of the rest of them.
Okay, but I do got a brief comment about that. Like, me and this one girl like comment on it like all the time, and I just find it really weird because originally Derek had paid Brayden to find out what is going on with him human-wise.
Yeah.
And that kind of, and then suddenly they kind of have a relationship, and that kind of brings the unhealthiness of it because it's like, is Derek paying her for that? In sexual favors?
The answer is no.
Okay, good. Okay.
There we go. I'll answer that for you now. No.
Okay, but I don't really like Brayden and Derek together.
Okay. Hey, we all got our different fandoms. It's all right. It's all right.
Again, we have time for another question. I can't see anybody,
there,
so
yeah.
no objections, sir.
Hi, my name's Ryan. So I have a question back to season 1 Supergirl for Mehcad because Tyler wasn't around back then.
Mehcad,
sorry.
No, it's all good.
What happened to Lucy Lane's character? She just sort of vanished towards the end of the season. Just when you were starting to like her, she was starting to establish her own personality from her father and from the military, and you guys had the storyline, and then she just sort of left. They never even mention her in season 2 or further on.
Yeah. That's a good observation. It's one that I made too, and I asked the same question.
Yeah, it's like somebody just went and obliviated everybody.
I honestly, I wish I had an answer for you. Like I really, because no, it's a great question, and yeah.
Do you think there's a chance Jenna might ever come back?
She had a baby yesterday.
She did? Oh.
Yeah.
Sweet, cool.
So, and I think she's moved on to something else. But yeah, I was looking forward to working with Jenna for a long time. We're still good friends, and I was looking forward to working with her on the show for a long time. And
yeah, like I said, I really liked her.
Didn't pan out.
It's not even that she mentioned her; it's just that it's like it never happens.
I can say this: nothing bad happened. Like, so if there's any rumors out there about that kind of stuff, like Jen is incredible, the showrunners are incredible. We had some management shifting around the season 1, season 2 time, and some things going on, I'm sure, as you guys know. And that's unrelated. So like there's nothing weird that happened or that she didn't want to come back or blah, 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 blah. It happened to Peter as well, who was playing
Toyman, was it?
Not Toyman. He was playing Maxwell Lord.
There you go.
Cat
yeah,
Cran's
so like
love interest.
it happened to a couple people. We didn't really get explanations, but it just didn't happen. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, listen, thank you all for coming. Before we leave, we'd like to turn it back to you guys.
Can we get the last Supergirl?
Oh, we have somebody there? Okay,
Sorry.
yeah, sure.
You dress so well, I can't.
Very nice.
My question is for Mehcad.
Thank God.
Okay. In one episode in the last season, Kelly, James's sister, had his shield. Is there any hope for her to kind of pick up the torch as Guardian?
However, and that's really all I can tell you about that.
Well, here at the end, I'd like to turn it over back to you guys and tell us something about your next shows.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about Mehcad's Jimmy Olsen publisher show, if that is going to happen. But it would be great. But tell us about what you're involved in next.
Shooting. We have a movie coming out, I think, later this year called Palm Springs that we had up at Sundance, which went really well, and I think a lot of people are going to get a chance to see it, and proud to be a part of that one. It's got a lot of great things just to say about relationships and love, and what this whole thing called life is about, and how we try to figure it out. So I would recommend that one. I don't recommend everything I do, but that one I would recommend. And then
very honest.
Yeah, I don't. And then we'll start shooting Superman and Lois. We get going on some pilot related stuff here pretty soon, and then we'll start the series in July. So Superman and Lois, that'll be the thing.
There we go.
When do you guys shoot the pilot?
I think we start end of the month. We start playing with a few things.
Awesome.
And then we'll shoot in April, May.
Awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm so happy for you, man.
Mehcad, what about?
I have a movie on Netflix right now called The Fall from Grace. It's a Tyler Perry movie, but it's a departure for him. It's like a kind of a Fatal Attraction, super interesting thriller. A lot of twists in it. It's really good. Actually, we opened up. It's the third largest Netflix opening ever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And then I did Mortal Kombat. So we're turning the. Well, I guess they've already done that couple movies in the '90s, but this is a complete reboot. So it's a original story based. No, he's not in it. Based on. Just kidding. Can't tell you who's in it or who's not. Based on the latest game, Mortal Kombat 11. It's partly based on that, part of the storyline from that. But it's gonna surprise some people. So basically, you were talking about. The Batman show, the Adam West Batman show from the 60s, and how corny it was, or whatever the case is. But I think people thought comic book franchises or comic book properties needed to be funny. Poppy and
exactly.
Sort of corny in that regard until Tim Burton.
I agree.
And Tim Burton goes, "Oh no, we have an opportunity to make this really dark, still fun and poppy, but dark and grounded." And I think what Tim Burton's Batman did for the comic book genre, I think we're going to do for the video game genre.
Excellent.
It's if you guys like Joker, this is dark. It's real. It feels real. You feel like you're in this world, and and I'm very proud of it.
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you both for coming. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all for coming.
Hey, this is Alex Malari Jr., and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Your Emperor commands it. Thanks for watching.